Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here with a small little bit of Gozyuger Gozyu Polar news update. I think I said that right, I said that kind of fast, but we got the main news the other day when I did a video on it. Of course, there's always stuff that releases right after I do a video, but luckily this isn't anything too much. The main two things that are interesting to talk about, I think, are the character descriptions, which we'll talk about at the end. I did just want to briefly go over the aesthetics because we got the scans, you know, just getting more shots of the suit in action. Still love this suit. Can't wait to actually see it in motion in the show. All of the shots from the scans look really great. There's also supposedly a little power-up. You can see it in the corner. As of this recording, the scans I have saved are a little bit blurry, especially when you zoom in, so you can't really see it too clearly, but it looks like one of those trench coat robe power-ups. Not the biggest fan of those, to be honest. I prefer either a cool armor or something that like has a radical change to the suit, like Super Geki Ranger and stuff. I don't do robes, so not really my thing, but it is kind of maybe tied to his story, which we'll get to in a second. We get a live action shot of the mecha, which we hadn't gotten because to this point it was just the toy. Sometimes we see the toy first, sometimes we see the live action first, and I think it's telling that I liked it right from the toy, since this year we're kind of back to that brickish look where the mecha for the most part in toy form don't do the designs justice. But I love this mecha. It's one of my favorites in recent years. It kind of reminds me of Spider Kimonos in a way, not in the design, but in the sense that I actually wasn't too hot on Spider Kimonos from the first picture, but once I really got to see it, I was like, wow, this is just amazing, and I just really love the design of this, and I'm really excited to get the toy for it, because I think the toy actually looks pretty good, all things considered, but the live action suit just looks really great, and really makes me love the design of the mecha all that more. Perhaps the most interesting thing was some like rough character descriptions I got. Now take this with a grain of salt, because the translation I saw was kind of, well, rough, because it had like some broken English in it, so there will probably be a more up-to-date version in the nearest future, and if you're somehow watching this in the future, there's obviously going to be more clear ones, but take this with a grain of salt in case I misinterpreted something. So as far as Goodburger, or Goodburn, home of the Goodburn, the mecha character, apparently he was formerly a prince of destruction or a god of destruction or something, and now he's trying to be a prince of justice. If the word prince is right, that's interesting because he's supposed to have a connection to Tega June as well, presumably Tegasword, like no Shrap Sherlock, like even if it didn't tell me this, I imagine there would be some sort of connection between all these samey looking robos. However, there's been some speculation, and I thought of too maybe that if he's a prince, maybe he's somehow their son. That would be really interesting to have the father on the hero side, the mother on the villain side, and then the son in the middle. I kind of assumed that all the robots would be related, like Tega June, Tegasword, Goodburger, and then maybe if we did other Rangers that there would be like a pantheon of these Tega robots or something, but if they're kind of having a familial connection, that could be really interesting. We'll have to see. That's definitely a facet of the mythology that will be opened up when this character is introduced. And then also you have Gozyu Polar, who is apparently the former champion of the contest, the Interstellar Song Contest. Now, this is going to be full of Doctor Who references because it just reminds me of Wish World, because I was just about to say, like, did he win the previous Wish World contest? But that is really interesting because it seems like this whole thing comes about after that robot war, and if there was previously a ring game, how did that come about? If this is true in any way, it definitely opens up the mythology in an interesting way. Not to mention, his character being a former champion or winner of this game could make for a really interesting dynamic. As I said in yesterday's video, I just hope he gets the proper amount of focus and actually feels like a main cast member, and hopefully isn't an obnoxious twerp character, but the idea of him being a former champion definitely intrigues me. Like, both him and his robot character, I think could add to a lot of the mythology, and that is one of the things I am still enjoying about the series, and I'm curious to see where we land on is the mythology of this overall story. But what do you guys think? Are you enjoying the stuff we're getting for Gozyu Polar? How do you think that these characters will play into the story? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.